Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka Blenderhead, Blender HD. If you can follow me there on Twitter, and it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. We got more action in the National Basketball / Blowout Association. Were there that many blowouts yesterday? No, not really. But we'll be talking about that, reviewing yesterday's slate, answering your questions in the YouTube chat. As always, I see you guys in there. Shuki Singh, Infamous Talk, Jim Steele. Good morning. The late night single entry last night. Keep up the great content. Okay, congratulations. Derek Key's in there. Trey, Steve Anthony, Quinn Williams. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Do whatever you want. Right? We got the All-Star break coming up for the NBA. So programming note said this is the last show until next Thursday. Okay, I will not be here Wednesday. Tomorrow. I will not be here Thursday. And then from Friday through Wednesday, there's nothing. The NBA All-Star game's over the weekend, and there's nothing going on. So there won't be any shows. So I won't be here until next Thursday. And then there'll still be Grinders Live and stuff on Wednesday and Thursday and stuff like that. But Friday through Wednesday, through the NBA All-Star break, there will be maybe there'll be some golf videos or something. There'll maybe something. There's stuff going. There's other stuff going on. MMA. Right, there's still a card. Soccer, that's still going on. You can still subscribe to RotoGrinders and get the projections and all the content for that if you want. Click on the link in the description, get $10 off your first month. I just want to make a note that the DFS pregame show will be returning next Thursday after today. But yesterday there was the $4 Micro Millions opener. I played 150 lineups into this, and no, I lost some money. I jammed in a lot of the late swap stuff. We saw yesterday, depending on how you projected Drummond's minutes, it depended on whether or not he started. And then once we got the word that Drummond was starting, I pretty much jammed. Like I put his minutes projection without him starting was like 22. Then once you bump him up to like 26, 28 minutes at 5,500, becomes a pretty damn good play. Then we also had Giannis. Was doubtful, and then he sat. So Jrue Holiday was considered the best point per dollar value on the board. Didn't really come through. The Bucks really did not come through. And then we saw that Ibaka was starting and not Nwora. And I did the swappy swap. I got a lot of Ibaka and got rid of a lot of my Nwora exposure. And it turns out Nwora actually had a better game. Right? He hit a bunch of 3-pointers or whatever. But the Bucks did not do very well. In general, and then Patty Mills was chalk, and pretty much Bruce Brown ate all of his production. So Patty Mills was 30% owned, and Bruce Brown was 5% owned. Should that have been that much of a discrepancy? Maybe not. But the Nets were cheap yesterday, and then we had what else was going on? Yesterday, that Knicks OKC game went into overtime, and pretty much if you stack that game, you made a lot of money, right? If we take a look at what's the first place on the leaderboard, right? We got Nick, OKC, like Giddy, 4% owned Giddy at 7,500 with a supposed minutes restriction. Supposedly he's on a minutes limit. Apparently not anymore. Apparently not yesterday at least. So he went for 64 points. Grimes was an obvious value. Who's 40% owned. I understand playing the Bulls guys. They're playing shorthanded. Mitchell Robinson exploded. Terrence Mann. I had a bunch of him. You pay up for a stud. You don't even need Curry in this lineup, right? Just as long as you get enough raw points here. But like if we take a look and compare exposures, we go by like Giddey. Who would have known to play Josh Giddey going into overtime? Well, not many. Right, we take a look. The field is 4%, Chipotle 3%, JBC 2%, Kobe 0, Royal Pain 0.7, Ship My Money 5%, Bricks 0.7, 0, 0, 7.3, 0, 0, Petty Theft 0, Squirrel Patrol 4%. So it's for 4.3% ownership. Actually, the sharper players were under that or have 0 of it. So if you didn't play Giddy last night, don't like, oh my God, how would I have known? Well, no one would have known, right? Even Baisley, if you take a look at Baisley, who scored, what, 40 points? He was 6% owned, and almost no one had him. Right? We have a ton of zeros here. Some ones, twos, ones. Right? Ty Jerome, sure. I can understand. He didn't start, though, even though Dort was out. I can see some ownership there. He's 3,200. He kind of got there. He got a 7x. Didn't do enough to be in the winning GPP lineup, but he got there. Then we take a look at Milwaukee. Go to Milwaukee. Like, look, the fact that Jordan Nwora was 25% owned, not starting, like that's like free arbitrage. Because Ibaka was what, 11% owned. And we could see here, we could see who late swapped and who didn't late swap, or he didn't even bother. By petty theft, 0. E. Hafner, 0. DeColt, 0. But then we got like shit my money, 61%. JBC, 67%. Square Patrol, 30%. And then you look at Ibaka. I mean, you could tell who didn't swap at all, right? I mean, it's obvious. Turns out Nwora scored more than Ibaka. Okay. But you could see here, based on exposure numbers, that if you went heavier on Ibaka, you did what a lot of the sharper players did. Didn't matter that he only got 18.75 points. I mean, you could say the same thing with Drummond as well. Right? We look at Brooklyn. We look at Drummond, 34% ownership, and nearly everyone was way over on that. Right? Way over. Petty theft, 52%. But even Patty Mills, tons over, 84, 56, 78. 15 points. Oh, I shouldn't have played him. It's like, well, a lot of the sharper players played him. In a whole bunch of their lineups. Not in every lineup, but in a whole bunch of them. Then who else did we get yesterday? Let's see. Randall, the Knicks game went into overtime. Terrence Mann. I was over the field in Terrence Mann. Okay, that makes sense. Josh Hart, 50 points at 9% ownership. I was over that. Baisley, yeah, Bruce Brown. I mean, that to me, Bruce Brown was the key. Bruce Brown, Giddey. I mean, the disparity between ownership and top 1% finish rate and the top 1% of lineups is drastic down here. I had a bunch of Denny. He had a 9x score. Right, Mitch Robinson, 3% owned, 17% of the top 1%. I had decent lineups. I mean, I decent build in comparison to other sharper players. I had similar builds, similar enough builds. Right, I take a look at a lot of this and I go, yeah, I was building very similarly. Yeah, I had some sprinkle of something. Yeah, Corey Kispert. Yeah, I'm not going to have 44% Corey Kispert, but I'm going to have some. Right? It's not like he got there, right? He put up 17 points. So just going through this. But I mean, I late swapped multiple times yesterday, right? The Ibaka news, the Drummond news, I'm swapping 150 lineups using the late swap tool on our lineup HQ. Sometimes it screws up some lineups. So I was playing one single entry lineup and I threw it in to my late swap optimizer, whatever thing. So it started coming out really weird. If you take a look at that $100 single entry line, it was awful. So I didn't exit out. So like in my first late swap, it threw it at the bottom. So when it throws it at the bottom, I don't know what the hell lineup is going to come out. So yeah, so that lineup didn't do very well. Going through the YouTube chat. Bruce Brown ended up playing almost 40 minutes, way over what the industry thought he would play. Yes, Nash is very erratic. Right. Let's see. Let's go to NBA.com. What do we have? What happened yesterday in the Brooklyn game? The Nets game. Where's the Nets? So how did those minutes even? Right. Bruce Brown played 38 minutes. Patty Mills still played 32 minutes. He just didn't do much. Cameron Thomas, right? They played Aldridge played. Griffin only played 3 minutes. But Aldridge actually performed better than Drummond. So Drummond played 24. Aldridge played 19. Right? Seth Curry did fine. Kessler Edwards didn't do much. But yeah, Bruce Brown, 38 minutes. Yeah. I don't think anyone would have predicted that. They would have evened it out. Like Cameron Thomas would have played 30. Javon Carter would have played 20. Or David Duke would have gotten a couple of more minutes or something like that. That's why minutes projections are they're medians. They're not exact. Because I mean, we take a look at that Knicks game. Or where's the Knicks? I mean, that game went way over. I mean, look, Giddey played 39 minutes, even though the coach says that 30 minutes or less. That's who's going to play for the rest of the season. Nope. Baisley plays 40. Right, Giddey has a triple-double. Then the Knicks go really short. Right, they played what? They barely played Reddish. They barely played something. They quickly only played 14 minutes. Essentially, they ran Fournier, Robinson. Robinson played 41 minutes. No Noel. But still, he still had Taj Gibson. He had still a top in there. Randall played nearly the whole game. So what? This fifth, how many minutes total? Is there 53 minutes total? 48 minutes plus 5 minutes of overtime. So yeah, so Julius Randle played, even without overtime. Take out overtime, he played 40 minutes. Grimes played 35. Mitchell Robinson played 36. They went very, very short rotation. Anything else to glean out of yesterday's slate? The Clippers played pretty short also, right? No, they spread it out a bit, right? But still, Jackson, Man, right? I had a bunch of Jackson, bunch of Man, bunch of Zubac. Marcus Morris didn't get there. He only played 27 minutes. Okay, just looking through some stuff. This is what I do in the morning. Looking through some stuff from yesterday's slate. See what's up. If you got any questions, feel free to throw them in the YouTube chat. It'll be a very short show. You got to pick up the slack. You got to put in enough questions for to last another week and a half. I'll be gone. So what can we talk about on today's slate? Really, we're waiting to see. I'm assuming Giannis plays today, right? Because he was probable yesterday. He literally started the day probable. Then he went to doubtful. So I'm assuming because it's a back-to-back, he just sat out yesterday and he's going to play today. But he's technically on the report as questionable. Butler is technically questionable. Morant is technically questionable. I think Butler plays. Morant plays. Right. Bogdan, does he play? I think it's fine. So that's what we're waiting for. I think the Pacers are the ones that are going to have the value on today's slate because there's no one here. I mean, their roster is dust. Their roster's dust. I mean, they got Halliburton healed now. But still, they got Thompson, they got tons of bodies in the front court, but no one in the back court. Because Duarte is out. I get they got Kiefer Sykes. I mean, I get we don't have a projection for Sykes yet, right? So maybe he'll play some. I mean, so many of these guys are injured. Jackson's out, Brogdon's out, Duarte's out, Turner's out, TJ McConnell's out, TJ Warren. What happened to him? He's dead. Ricky Rubio. I mean, these are all people that are on. Seems like the whole Pacers. If all the people are actually back, they may actually be a decent team, but not today. So is going to be Lance Stevenson chalk day again? O'Shea Brissett. I mean, you can pretty much play all four of these guys. Like in cash games or something, I could just say play all the Pacers. Of course, these are our 5:05 a.m. projections. There's been no manual updates yet. Let's see. We'll reload it and see. We got no ownership here or nothing. And now we got some ownership. Yeah, algorithmic on the projections from above. Right? Got Embiid because Harden ain't playing until after the All-Star break. Still got Terrence Mann at 4,600. If he's going to play 38 minutes a game, I think 4,600 is too cheap for him. Yeah, we got people to play. I think the pay as of right now, the Pacers are going to be the source of value. Looking through. No, we got some. There are people to play today. Right? We take a look. We take a look at this RGV column, salary adjusted plus minus, and we got a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of guys. But this may be the type of slate where you're playing at least one pacer in every line, if not two, in every lineup. But they may get blown out by Giannis and the Bucks, but they don't have anyone. Who's going to play? Everyone's going to play. Oh, Alan Burns says Daytona 500 is coming up. Oh, that's coming up. Yeah, we may have a NASCAR show. Maybe on Sunday. Is there going to be a pre-lock show? There may be. I don't know. There was one last week, I think. I think Stevie did one. So we got stuff, right? We got an EPL, the Premier League slate Saturday morning, right? MMA, UFC slate Saturday night, Saturday afternoonish, right? Sunday, you got the NASCAR. You also got the All-Star. Yeah, obviously the NBA All-Star game you could play, showdown or something for. There's stuff going on. Golf. There's probably a golf event, right? There typically is. Esports, right? There got to be something's going on. CSGO or League of Legends or whatever. There's stuff. Jim Steele says, after hearing you talk about playing the low dollar contest and playing against lesser competition, I quadruple my bankroll in less than a week. I'm the man, apparently. Yeah, if you can't beat the crappy people, the crappier, there's still plenty of good players in the low stakes. You're never going to beat the higher level. Play the quarter, dollar, dime. To me, it would be much better. Like if you're on DraftKings, it's much better if you can play 150. If you can play large, if $150 worth of GPP lineups, that instead of playing 10 into the $15 large field GPP, it'd be better just play 150 into the $1 GPP. You can't beat that. You can't have a good ROI in that. You're not going to have a good ROI in the higher one. So what is there to talk about? It'll be a very short show. Because really, you can't talk about an NBA slate at 11 o'clock in the morning. We have no idea what the hell's going on. Imagine if I did that yesterday. We wouldn't be talking about anyone that you played yesterday, essentially. That's the point. The MMA slate coming up this weekend is 11 fights. I think they're adding a 12th fight. I hope we keep that many fights. Really, 11. To me, 11 is like my minimum. I have played when it's 10. I have played when it's 9. But really, 11 is I prefer 15. Yeah. If you had to give me a choice on an MMA card, give me 15 fights. Give me 17 fights. There's never more than 15. But 11 is doable. And it also depends on the lines of the fights. The closer the odds are of the fights, the more I don't mind it being a smaller card. Let's take a look at that now. I know it's Tuesday, but let's see. Let's go to fightodds.io. Let's see what these betting lines look like. Right. Look at 5 dimes. You got minus 250, minus 225, minus 245, minus 325 for Jonathan Pierce. Yeah, this is going to be it's not one of those cards that have a lot of close fights. Let's take a look at the salaries. This is what I do when there's nothing going on in the YouTube chat. I'll take a look at the stuff that I want to take a look at. I like it when the most expensive fighter is only minus 200. Because people get in the habit of high price fighters are worth money or worth. It's more likelihood of multiple underdogs winning. You leave money on the table. 4 or 5 underdogs win, and that's the nuts. And you have a more unique lineup. Do we even have the salaries? Are the salaries even out? Maybe they're not even out. Maybe that's why I can't even pull them up. Let's take a look. Maybe they're on DraftKings. Lobbies, lineups. I use the DraftKings desktop. Not frequently at all. MMA, let's see. 10 fights? Aren't they adding one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I see 12 fights here. They're going to add it. Yes, I know how to play. Thank you. Okay, so, we got salaries here. Right? So Pierce is 9,300. Angelier against Strader. Who the hell's Angelier? Okay, there we go. He's minus 238. Yeah, this is like this is more of a normal slate. The main event is Walker Hill. 9,072, the 9,700 fight. Okay, yeah, this will be more like a normal slate. Most of these, the guys up here are appropriately favored enough. I like it when like the top guy is like minus 185 and the bottom guy is like plus 160. And then you could build any lineup. But like we saw in this past pay-per-view card, like only 2 underdogs won because they had set all the favorites in the 9,000 range. We had like 5 fighters that were minus 250 or above, and 2 or 3 that were like minus 350, minus 400. Like the likelihood of them winning is just so high that you're not going to find that many underdogs that win, let alone put up a big score. So like you find the 1 or 2 that do, like it's hard to make more unique lineups that way. And it's especially true on smaller cards. On a 15-fight card, you could do it. 10-fight card, when you have multiple humongous favorites, like it's quite those slates a lot of times the highest scoring losing fighters in the optimal lineup. Because no underdog wins. Or sometimes the highest scoring losing fighter actually scores more than one of the underdogs that did win by decision. So I don't like those slates. I like slates where a lot of underdogs can win. But just taking a look. Derek Key says it seems like the payout structure is flatter in FanDuel. It depends on the contest. It really depends on the contest. It depends on what stakes level, what max entry type. In general, DraftKings GPPs are slightly flatter than FanDuel's. They're both horrible. They're both horribly top heavy. But typically, I don't care about anything. I care about the difference between first and 10th. That's how I decide on a payout curve. How many spots they pay out, anything past that, I don't care about. I'd rather they pay less spots and give me a 2x, 2.5x min payout. Well, really, it's first to 10th. Because that's where the variance is. It's like the difference between coming in 10th and coming in first. I'm just building lineups that could get up there. And at that point, it's out of my control. So if it's 100,000 to first, 20,000 a second, 10,000 to first to third, and then it's 500 to 10th place, like the difference between $500 and 100,000 could be like a 3-pointer. It's like, it could be nothing. I don't want my entire year decided by that. I'd rather it be 40,000 to first, 30,000 to second, 20,000 to third, 10,000 to fourth, 7,500, 8,000 or whatever, 7,500 to fifth, 6,000 to sixth, 5,000 fourth. Like by the time you get to 10th place, it's like somewhere between close to 10% of first place. So first place is 40,000, 10th place is 4,000. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'd rather lower the first place payout just to get it flatter in the top 10. Past the top 10, I don't care if it drops. Right? I really don't care at that point. If after 10th place it goes 2,000, 1,800, 600, and 100th place pays $50, I don't care at that point. But like last year, last season in baseball was just brutal. I had like 9 top 10 finishes and lost money. Because I had a second, I had like 2 fifths, and a bunch of like 6 to 10s. Out of 9. That's not enough. When first is 50,000, 10,000. When it does that on like FanDuel. It's 30,000, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, and 9th place is $600. And I'm like 4 points away from first place. That I want the flatter part there. Everything else, let it be steep. Doesn't matter to me. Derek Key said I cash more in FanDuel. Who cares about cashing in GPPs? Minimum cashing in GPPs is not sustainable long run. You're just going to bleed money away. Because remember, you're paying about a 15% rate also. And especially if it's a 1.5x type of payout. Cashing does not matter. I do not care about cashing. I care about winning first place. And if it was flatter up in the top 10, I would just care about getting in the top 10. But the difference between coming in 4th and coming in 1st is ridiculous. Right? 100,000 to 1st, 30,000 to 2nd, 10,000 to 3rd, 5,000 to 4th. And it's like, really? It couldn't have just been, why can't it just be 40, 30, 20, 10 or something? Something like that. Samuel B says, I'm still trying to understand the range of outcomes. Bruce Brown performance yesterday was way above the 99th percentile. Yes. Yes, that Bruce Brown came in. Unless dude somehow we're able to know that he was going to get 38 minutes. I think most projections had him around 26. How often does he play 38 minutes? And then in 38 minutes, have over a 1.2 fantasy point per minute type of game. Yes, there's 50 points is 99th percentile. Yeah. Is 3 standard deviations over the median. Assuming you projected him for a median of 26 minutes. And if you projected him for 38, even if you projected him for 38 minutes, Bruce Brown is not that productive of a player. That even then, we're still talking about at least 2 standard deviations off the mean. If you even put him at 38 minutes. Same will be with that said, I wonder what the thought process for those who played him. Well, I'd Bruce Brown. I'd Bruce Brown, I think 6% of my lineups. Because he was cheap, he's 3,500. So if he plays 26 minutes and does decently and gets 30 points, for 3,500, 30 points is good. And he's on a shorthanded team without Irving and Durant in anyway. So I don't see a reason why you wouldn't play Bruce Brown. He can be in a lineup. You probably don't play him with Patty Mills. It's not about playing players. It's about building lineups. You can play any player, any I would say reasonably projected player. Some of the players at the very bottom. I'm going to play Tony Snell for 5 minutes. Like, no, that would probably not going to play him. Any reasonably projected player you could play. Any. Literally any. And then that'll determine what you have to do in the rest of your lineup. So if you play Bruce Brown in your lineup for his quote projection and ownership, well, you could play a little bit more chalky in the rest of your lineup. You're not playing Patty Mills, so you're getting rid of that chalk, and now you can play Drew Holiday in that lineup. You could play Andre Drummond in that lineup. If you're playing Mills in a lineup, then you have to find a way to get different elsewhere. It's not a matter of who you play, it's what type of lineups do you build. When you make the the quote of what the thought process was those for who to play them, you're not playing DFS correctly. I don't predict outcomes. No one. I could go right here. None of these people predict outcomes. None. Zero. No one is going, I think this guy's going to do well today. None. It's a mathematical range of outcomes. Do I know what's going to happen tomorrow, tonight? No. All I know is that Embiid has a median of 57.9, and within a one standard deviation of his outcomes, it's from 41 to 72. Oh, so do you think he's going to hit 72 today? I have no idea. I don't even concern myself about it. What type, this player in a lineup, how do you build a good lineup with Embiid in it? Or without Embiid? It doesn't matter. It's just numbers. I can take off the names. Doesn't matter. So the more you stop thinking about who's going to do well and why, and just build good plus EV lineups, you will do better. Leverage the tools you already have. If you disagree with a rotation or something, feel free to change that if you want. If for some whatever reason yesterday you're like, I think Bruce Brown's going to just play 38 minutes, then put in for 38 minutes. I think that would be wrong. I don't know how you'd figure that out because no one else did. But even if you thought, okay, the projection is 26 and you think he's going to play 30 and you bump it up, okay. Doesn't make him a mega player at all anyway. Even at 38 minutes, he wasn't. But you could change that. They go, oh, I think Lance Stevenson's going to play less and Kiefer Sykes is going to play more. Okay, then change the minutes. But once you get to a number, once you get to numbers, the players don't matter anymore. Now you're just building lineups. Derek Key, can you explain what RGV is again? Obviously, someone doesn't actually watch the show. RGV is salary adjusted value plus minus. Okay? How many points is their median above what a player at that salary to make value is? So at 4,000, Lance Stevenson is 4,000. To make value, right, he has a 30-point projection, right? A 30-point median projection. 50th percentile projection. A 4K player, in order to make value for 4K, for his salary adjusted value is 23. Okay? So any 4K player here would be would need 23 points to be worth at minimum to play. So how many points is his median above that? 7. Shea Brissett has a 34 and a half about median, which is 5.5 points higher than what you would want out of a 5.4K player. 5.4K player should give you 29 and a half points or 29 points. Yeah, 29 points. So that's 5.5 points higher. His median is 5.5 points higher than that. So that's what it is. Salary adjusted value plus minus. So you take a look down here, you go, okay, here's Jalen Brunson, 6,400. Salary adjusted value plus minus is -1, which means his median is 32. A $6,400 player to make value should give you what? 32 points? So that's all it is. How far away is the median from their salary adjusted value for their price? That's what salary adjusted value is. Did it change Brunson's thing? It made it weird. All of a sudden, he has no ownership. I have no idea what happened. Did the projections update while I'm on the show? Sometimes that happens. Yes, it did update. Okay, that's the reason it updated. All right, we got our first manual update. Aldo Arnelis. No, I'm not playing Champions League today. I don't like playing 2-game soccer slates. Derek Key, how is that base value calculated? Depending on the scores of Jamino has a formula. If you'd like to go into the RotoGrinders Discord and ask Chris Jamino, he will tell you. Lower price players have to score more points as a multiplier than higher price players. So you have to adjust for that. I mean, that's where the smash percentage gets calculated also. You can make up whatever you want. I mean, whatever value you want, you could do this in Excel. These numbers are comparative numbers. They're not discrete numbers. You're only using this in relation to other players. So if you want to say a 4K player makes value at 7, you just want to do 7x across the board. Okay, so a 4K player getting 7x is what? 28 points. Lance Stevenson has a projection of 2.67 higher than that. So his whatever the hell RG, whatever number you want to be, would be 2.67. O'Shea Brissett, what's a 7x of him? 7 times 5.4. 5.4. 37.8. Okay, so he's a minus 3 or so. If you wanted to do it that way. You know what ends up happening? They're all in relation to each other anyway. But if you do it by only by a multiplier, what'll end up happening is that the higher price players you will think are bad plays, and you will love tons of cheap players. Because if you have a 3K player that gets 7x, that may not be good enough. For a GPP, that's 21 points. Yeah, but it takes up a slot in your roster. So a 3K player getting 21 is not great. It'd be fine for cash games. You don't need the nuts. So the lower price players have to have a higher threshold. That's typically why you add a constant to that multiplier. So if you go like 5x plus 10, for instance. So Lance Stevenson, 5x plus 10 would be 30 points. Right? So a 3K player, 5x plus 10 would be 25 points. A 10K player, 5x plus 10 would be what? 60 points. But 60 points is 6x. You get 6x out of a 10K player, that's pretty damn good. 6x out of a 3K player, 18 points, probably isn't good enough. Samuel B, that's the thing. Once you have the numbers, how do you know that you're selecting the correct plus EV play? There's no plays, Samuel. You got to stop thinking in terms of plays. You got to stop thinking in terms of players. All you're doing is putting together a lineup that is positive expected value based on the projection and the ownership. It'd be very helpful. If you watch, there are about 700 hours of content that I've done. Like, it's kind of amazing. It's amazing that you could stay on YouTube on the RotoGrinders channel and watch all the shows, this show in the morning, that I've ever done. You know how many times I've explained this? Probably 374 times. So you know what the thing is? You know, you go back, you go on the RotoGrinders YouTube channel and you look for my face and you click and you watch those videos. It's obvious because obviously I've never explained this until now. So one thing that always amazes me. But if you don't want to have to do that, you could just pay me $125 and get the Theory of Daily Fantasy Sports 15-hour audio DFS masterclass that explains everything. Nice little format. You don't have to go through 500 hours worth of content in order to get the same exact information that I've explained 374 times. Theoryofdfs.com. I only say it like this because to me, it's laziness. That's all it comes across as. Absolute laziness. Like, yes, oh yeah, I've watched, I've looked at your stuff. Okay, well, they obviously haven't. When I had someone the other day in the Discord, the RotoGrinders Discord, that was looking for my MMA video when I won 100 plus whatever. I did a whole thing showing my spreadsheet and everything, how basically it all works. My entire process, right, of how I build plus EV lineups. 40-minute video. He's a RotoGrinder subscriber. And he asked me, where's the video? You know what my response was? Where would you find videos on the RotoGrinder site? So I'd like, let's go there. Right, we go here at the forums. Okay, so you're at the RotoGrinder site. Okay, you're at the site. You're like, okay, I want to find an MMA video. So where would you go? Well, probably two places. Probably under MMA, or possibly under video. Like, that's kind of the description. So let's say I go to MMA. Right, I go to MMA. And I'm looking for it. This supposed video that I've done. You go through and you go, okay, where's this video? Okay, I don't see it listed here or anything. Right? I go. So where is this stuff? Okay. Could do that. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's not under this. Right? Maybe it's under video. I'm gonna go to the video page. Right? You see, here's me right there. Here, okay. You go, okay, let me scroll down. You go, okay, general DFS strategy. That could be it. Tutorials. Oh, look, there it is. How I won 117,000 using there. Oh, there's the video. Okay. Here's another way to do it. Right. You go on YouTube. Type in Jordan Cooper MMA. Oh, well, there I am. Okay, even if you didn't know my real name, a Blender MMA. Oh, what's the top one also? RotoGrinders. Grinders MMA. Oh, that's also the top one. All right, there you go. You found it. There you go. Why'd you mention me? Why'd you type in? That's exactly what I asked him. I said, well, go find it. Can you give me a link? You know what I did? Didn't give him a link. You know why? Because I take a look at all these names. Chipotle Addict, JBC, Kobe for MVP, Royal Pain, Ship My Money, Brick 75, Jesus Good, the Cults, all these people. Awesome-o, right? You're dealing with a lot of people that have that their Whistles Go Woo has a PhD in applied mathematics. There's tons of people. I could go to the RotoGrinders rankings for the top 50. Nearly all of them have some extensive experience in high-level computer programming or finance, something, have master's degree level stuff, right? Right? Heavy, that they build their own systems, and they're all processes, and they're in your contests, okay? Tons of smart, really, really intelligent people, rocket scientist level people. Do you think that you'd ever possibly do well in DFS if you can't even find a damn video? Okay? That's the point. So if you can't find a video on your own of searching for it on a site within 3 minutes, I don't see how anything in the video could even help you. Because obviously you have no cognitive ability to do anything. But that's the reason. That's where my attitude always comes from. It's not me trying to be an asshole. It's me. To me, you're the one being rude. Right? Oh, let me ask a question that, like, 'cause I know the names here. Let me ask you a question. No, I don't want to go back and watch old videos. Right? I want the concierge treatment. It's like, no, there's a daily show. Like you could. I've said the same things 800 times. Truthfully, the show almost has no purpose. So I say the same things literally every day. We go over things, and then some people have interesting questions. We have, in the Discord, we have a group coaching. Those guys ask very good questions because I'm dealing mostly with people that already have their own. They're asking strategy questions because they're running simulations and they have their own Excel spreadsheets and everything like that. And I do answer newer questions as well. But it's like, dude, like I have 500 hours worth of video. I have an entire course on this. Like it's not that hard to just all you have to do is listen and watch. So that's the main reason that I get annoyed when I get stupid questions. MJC asks, is MMA the DFS sport to get into? Depends if you're good at it. Do I like UFC DFS more than NBA DFS? Absolutely. Absolutely. NBA is the amount of time you have to put in for NBA is way more than any other sport. Because you got the pretty much I'm at my computer or near my computer from 5:30 Eastern when I start till the last game lock. So like till 10 o'clock. I mean, yeah, maybe once the 8 o'clock game's locks, there's not much for me to do anymore. But it's constant chaos. Well, I got to move this, I got to swap this, and I got to do this. Especially if you're playing multiple sites. It's a pain in the ass. UFC, dude, I could do all my UFC stuff in 20 minutes if I want to. Right? There's only so many combinations. You're building for it. I want to build as many unique or under 5 duped lineups as possible. And I can do that in 20 minutes. And there's no late swap. The card locks at whatever time it is, and that's it. You're done. Definitely prefer UFC, especially with this bigger edge in UFC. Download the CSVs. You see people duping you have some lineups that are duped 100, 500 times. You avoid that, and you build a bunch of unique lineups. You're going to make money. It'll come all at once, but you're going to make money. Smokey Bear agrees with me. As Sean George says, I think the logic of dumping on people who don't use Google intuitively is good, but considering I believe that people who that type of content is tailored for don't watch content to get better at DFS. I don't know why they watch content then. Well, not my content. But yes, I agree. I think UFC is the second best sweat in DFS. It's long, but it's periodic. So you could see exactly where you are after every fight. So you go fight. You can see where your lineups are. Okay, I need this guy in this lineup and that guy. Do I have the nuts anywhere? And fights could be over like that. Like you could be the biggest favorite. Boom, one punch, 14 seconds, they're done. Biggest underdog wins. The variance is heavy in MMA. The best sweat is soccer. Particularly Champions League group stage soccer, when they have 6 to 8 games at once. It's 2 hours and it's over. And goals are like home runs in baseball. So every goal dramatically changes the standings. When you get all the games at once, you can get 6 to 8 games at once. It's 45 minutes and just nonstop. Right? There's no commercials. There's no nothing. It's 45 minutes, and pretty much all the games mostly are at halftime at around the same time. And then it's another 45 minutes past there. And then next thing, 2 hours, you're done. Typically, there's on Paramount Plus or whatever, there's a goal zone type of thing, and they go from game to game. You get the goal notifications on your phone. That's a sweat. 2 hours, high speed, you're done. Everything else is after that, I don't really care for anything. It is what it is. Golf, some people like golf. I think it's too. I can't consider it the great sweat because it's too long. It's too long, and you often don't even have a sweat on the last day. Like that's the problem. To me, that's the problem. When it comes to a sweat, I don't care from a DFS purpose of just making money week to week. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about entertainment value. Because the two big sweats in golf would be the cut line and then obviously the end. But like, let's say you've made 20 lineups and you don't have a 6 out of 6 line. Well, the Saturday and Sunday doesn't matter anymore. So what sweat do you get? All you do is have lineups that can't win on the screen. And then let's say you do get 2 6 out of 6s, right? Out of your 20 lineups. And then Saturday, one of those guys goes +7. And it's like, okay, this lineup can't win. Even though it's live on Sunday, like you ain't getting the 62nd place finish, ain't gonna get you anything in one of your slots. So I feel like you rarely have a sweat at the end. Most of the sweat is the cut, right? If anything, and then the cut, and then you have your lineups on your phone that won't go away for 2 days. That's pretty much. So that's the only reason I downgrade that. I guess if you're playing Showdown, if you're playing the round-wise show, I guess so. Because golf and the golf hole by hole by hole, okay, I could see that being entertaining. When NBA is so iterative. Like, how do you sweat NBA? Like, dude, basket. Yeah. Baseball, slow. Football, I mean, you put on red zone. That's why, like, football's fine because you get to put on red zone. So you don't have to watch individual games and have commercial breaks and penalties and garbage plays and 3rd and 11 draw plays and punting from the 42-yard line type of crap. At least you get that. But to me, it's MMA and soccer, the two best sweats. Smokey Bear says, I love soccer, but I don't think I could get into DFS for it. Well, that's how I originally started. I played DFS soccer exclusively for about 2 years before I expanded into other sports. Right? I talk about NBA. There was a time back in 2016, I said I would never play NBA DFS. I hate basketball. Well, 2017, I started playing NBA DFS and made a bunch of money. So I said, okay, I don't mind. I don't mind NBA DFS anymore. I'm not going to watch the games or anything. Okay. So there you go. With a little bit of the rant at the end. There's nothing else to talk about. We have no idea what the hell's going on today. We have no idea. MLB, it was supposed to be pitchers and catchers day today. They ain't showing up. Hopefully we get a baseball season. I hope we get it on time. Late season NBA is horrible. I mean, it's just as bad as it always feels like late season NBA now. But it's going to be even worse with half the teams tanking and everything. Come April or whatever, I want baseball. I want baseball back. At least that's leisurely. You can build your lineups. There's no chaos. Every once in a while, there's a late scratch or something, but I don't mind. There's not much late swap going on, and it's really easy. MLB. But hopefully we get that. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. Thummy thumbs. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We got Grinders live later today for the 7-game slate tonight. Crunch time for premium members. And like I said, I won't be here tomorrow. I won't be here Thursday. I will be back after the All-Star break. You know, we got Thursday. Next Thursday is the next slate after the All-Star break. So I will be back then. So you will not see me. You won't see a little thumbnail. So that means there's no show. Okay. And yeah. So obviously if I'm not playing Wednesday, I'm not playing Thursday, I'm not playing the All-Star. I don't think I'm going to play the All-Star game, Showdown, whatever. I hope you do well in those. We'll have content. Well, here on RotoGrinders, we will have content for the All-Star game, I believe. We typically do, right? So if you want to sign up for that, rotogrinders.com/premium, Premium. Click on the link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. If you're a premium member, you also get be part of the RotoGrinders Discord. And there's a channel in there, my channel. It's exclusively for me. Blender's Game Theory. If you go in there, you could ask whatever questions you want in there. I'm much nicer in there, as long as you're not asking lazy stuff. But we do group coaching calls, typically around once a week. And the next one is on the 18th, Friday, and on the 23rd. So during the All-Star break, I'll be doing coaching calls. So it's like any type of private coaching. We're on Zoom. Typically, we have anywhere between 20 and 60 people there. And if you want to ask something, explain your process, people bring out their roto trackers. They screen share. We go over a lot of advanced stuff in there. And yeah, you could always show up even if you don't have a question or anything. Those sessions are not recorded, so you have to be there in order to see them. I do that for the comfort of people that want to share their own stuff, not that it's going to be broadcast and saved for the rest of the world to know, if they're doing bad, they're doing well, exactly what they're doing, that type of stuff. So it's a little bit more comfortable. So if you sign up for RotoGrinders Premium, that link in the description, get $10 off your first month. Join the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. That'll take you there. There's some free channels there. I don't know how much activity there are in the free channels. We have all these premium channels. The NBA chat is always cool, nuts all day. The NBA chat, play this, and it's a lot of stuff going on there. You can always post your questions in my Blender's Game Theory channel, and I will see you next week. Next Thursday, I'll be back answering your DFS strategy questions as always on the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.